I do, folks. How you doing? Just a quick one. Back in the motor. I thought I'd do another quick one, but I must say as well, I will disappear into the mist at some point as well, because I am as sick of the truth movement as I was back then. And I stopped and I came out the woodwork, just do a couple of videos, and I don't know how many I'll do, I don't know how long I'll keep sticking my nose in, but I am absolutely done with the truth movement as such. I'm still there, I'm still doing what I do, but the people are fucked up, so fucked up. Everybody's following bullshit and everybody wants bullshit and everybody's loving the bullshitters. So yeah, so just like slip into the background. Just thought I'd come on here and just have a little chat, because again, people are just falling for every twist and turn, and I always say it, people genuinely are. And the assumed heavy hitters in this fucking realm, I'm not going to call them heavy hitters anymore, I assumed heavy hitters, I ain't got a word for them, because there are some genuine ones. I don't often say that bit. I just like to draw your attention to the fact there are a load of cunts as well, but there are some genuine ones, but not fucking many, really not many. Most are government agents or handled by government agents. Some of them don't even know they're handled, they've just got a mate that's in the scene that feeds them info and feeds them where to go and feeds them specific guests for the show, as one prominent one out there does specifically. I don't know about many others, I just know one prominent one does, because their handlers tried to get me on their fucking show a few times, and they can kiss my arse. I don't name and shame, I'm not that sort of guy, although I will retaliate if somebody fucking comes for me, I'll go for them. But the reality is, you need to stop it. You just need to stop it. Stop falling for shit. You know, if something gets traction and it's all over the internet, you can virtually guarantee it's bullshit. That's the fact. The algorithms keep us down. The algorithms keep the genuine ones right down, so you won't hear their voice. Sometimes the genuine ones are played by the algorithms, showing little numbers when you can see that their reach is far. We see that with a few of them. Hardly any. I was watching one for over a year. He was getting like 200 views on his YouTube channel, yet the fucking entire internet knew about him. Everybody knew about him, everybody was quoting him, everybody loved him. And he's going, no, look, he's only getting 200 views, then how come everybody knows about him, everybody's quoting him? Think about just due diligence. The obvious sometimes is so prominent, you miss it. It's like walking around the back of the building to look for something, really you was looking for the building. And this is how it is sometimes. But every twist and turn, literally every twist and turn. We've just had the one with the banks, draw your money out of the banks. I hope you did it, and I hope it really paid off for you. And where are we now? Oh, nowhere, because you go to the cash point, you draw some money out, you've done your virtue signalling, you feel like you're empowered, you feel like you've fucked the system, you're biting back or you're fighting back, you really feel you're doing that, when reality is you're just drawing some money out of the cash point. And when the cash point's empty, it's just fucking empty, and it's as simple as that. The bank aren't going to go, oh no, the people can't get their money. No, the banks have still got your money, and all your money's in ones and zeros, so they don't really give a flying fuck about you drawing your couple of £100 or 20 quid or fucking £1,000 out, even if you went inside. It wouldn't matter, because at the point they ain't got any cash there for you, they're just going to say, no, I'm sorry, we ain't got it, you'll have to order it. And that is that. You're not going to fight the system by doing silly shit that the internet tells you to do. You need to wake up to that shit. It's more of falling for every twist and turn. Like I say, there are so many out there and there's so much going on that people just don't know what to do. And it isn't as simple as here's a playbook, this is what you need to do. Don't work that way. We've got serious shit coming, and what we've got is a hell of a lot of people speculating, and there are a serious amount of people speculating on what you should be doing and what's coming exactly right down to the letter. And this is going to happen. Another one, a prime one, the 8th, the solar eclipse on the 8th. Come on, fucking serious. The end of the world on the 8th. The end is nigh. The end is nigh. I've had people seriously fucking say to me, you'll eat your words on the 8th. No, I won't. I've lived through this shit. For the past 15 years or so, I've been doing that shit. And I would say 10 of those years, I was falling for them silly dates that you get given all the time as well. They don't give you the real dates they're going to do shit. They just don't do that shit. They're not going to tell you that on the 8th, the end of the world's coming. Imagine mainstream media is telling people to stock up and this might happen, that happen. Mainstream media is telling people. And then the truth movement's going wild because mainstream media said it. Ah! I can't stress enough how fucking stupid it is to think the world's going to end because of a solar eclipse. It's not even a solar eclipse. Fucking, that's bullshit anyway. The whole fucking story of that is bullshit. But it is what it is. I am actually going to be making a video very, very soon with a very, very dear friend of mine, and he is an awesome guy, and he's got information that most people just do not get. He has got a great source off the YouTube. One of his sources is he told me ages ago, and another real good friend of mine told me ages ago to look at this specific YouTube channel. And I'm just too fucking busy. Everybody tells me to look at something, but because this come from two good mates, I earmarked it. I literally wrote down, I've got to see this, put it on a sticky note and put it up somewhere on the side of my printer actually. But in a second. But yeah, so I watched this channel. I've just watched one of his videos at the minute. It was a couple of our videos, and yeah, it really did surprise the hell out of me. There's somebody out there giving real information of what's coming, why it's coming, how it's coming, and all sorts of things that evidence this. Now, I've got a very good friend who's studied this, not just watched a couple of YouTube videos. He does his own research anyway, but studies this shit big time. And yeah, we're going to be doing a bit of a video. I should imagine I'm going to be sat there letting him do most of the talking, because I haven't got the input to put on that. It's very esoteric, or it's very, very what's happening, how it's happening, why it's happening, but not in the realm of people see and realise. It's like, yes, there's a jab, but we're not discussing the jab. Yes, there's going to be the deaths, and we're not discussing the deaths as such. It's why and how and what's happening, and like I say, why it's happening for the most part, and the timelines and history. And so yeah, I'm going to encroach a little bit on Rob's realm here, which I've already told him and apologised, because it's not my business to encroach on that. That is more of his forte. But in all honesty, it's going to be an absolute awesome video, and I think it's needed, because people are falling for absolute shite all the time. Everybody's falling for the next big thing, the next doom and gloom, and yes, there's quite, the future's quite gloomy. We can't stick our heads up our arses and say what a great time to be alive, as we see so many do. That's MK Ultra. They've been convinced to say that, and they'll manifest something better. Don't work that way. So yeah, and I'm not going into how it may or may not work either, although yes, I have got a bit of knowledge there, but again, presume knowledge. This is my belief systems. We can't always say that is, that isn't. A lot of times we can say what isn't, but we can't say what is. Unfortunately, a lot of the people out there believe if you can't tell them what is, they can't believe what isn't. It isn't that. What's that then? How can you explain that then? Oh, if I can't explain it, it's got to be wrong, hasn't it? So this is how a lot of people are. It's because the little tiny minds can't change their opinions when they're greeted with new information, presented with, should I say, and that is a real problem, because the new information doesn't need to be exactly what a situation is. The new information, it should be enough to tell you what it isn't, why it isn't, and then your due diligence should kick in, or you join a meeting of the minds of people who are working towards that, if you're curious enough. But you do need to be curious enough to Rob, nicking another one of yours there, stay curious. But you do need to be curious enough to question shit, and questioning shit isn't just questioning the one that told you. It really isn't. If you can't question deeper than that and find out for yourself, you're already stuck in that matrix, you're already stuck in that realm, and you're fucked already. If you can't look, people say, what's the solution then? Like there's supposed to be a single solution to the entire world's problems been created by the best minds in the world, that's been funded by unlimited money. And like, yeah, well, yeah, Craig just driving down the road, I'm going to solve that shit. and loads of us together, we're all trying to decipher it, work out what's right and what's wrong. It doesn't mean we've got the playbook to how to get out of it and how to deal with it. And also, if you're the sort that, well, if you haven't got the solution, then fuck it, I'll sit back and not bother, then you're the fucking idiot. And you would be an absolute fucking idiot for doing that, because it isn't about here's the problem, here's the solution. It's like, here's a fucking really big problem, we need to get a solution. That's how your mind should be working with any problems you get, any at all. That's how you should look at things. Not, oh, I'll ask him, and if he ain't got a solution, fuck it then. Oh, I'll just sit in my house and wait for the shit to come on top. Now, if I was to give not solutions, but some info on what I believe people should be doing, me personally, I've got a god awful lot of food, proper food, dried food that can last a long time. I've got water, I've got fuel in large amounts, all stored. I've got a couple of years of dog food. I've got all sorts. I sort of live on a farm, so I can go out shooting. Defensive items, yes, to the extreme a little bit, but to deal with any eventuality. And hunting items, yes, to deal with any eventuality. We've got a time possibly coming, and it looks very, very probable that there's going to be a food shortage, designed, as we've spoke about, with the farmers. Unfortunately, the farmers can't see this, and truly, even though the farmers are outside people, they genuinely can't look up to see what's going on. They can't, absolutely can't. I still get it. They can't control the weather. Well, they've been obviously openly controlling it since Vietnam War. They extended the monsoon for 6 months. They didn't do that without controlling the fucking weather, did they? And if they could do that in the 60s, and it's very well documented, you can just on your computer and see that. If they did that in the 60s, what the fuck do you think they'll be able to do now? Do you think they just shelved that? Oh no, that did its job. We don't need to look at weather modification anymore. No, and people genuinely believe they can't control the weather. And yes, I know, before people start telling me they can control the weather. Really? So, before they question the really comment, yes, I know. Sometimes I talk really dumbed down, and I know that most of the people on listening to me aren't absolutely dumbed down. We're all dumbed down to a degree, so anybody saying they're not dumbed down at all, or they're totally 100% woken up, is an absolute fucking idiot as well, because best minds in the world, paid with unlimited funds. So we do have to always leave a little gap for full tomfoolery, for fuckery, because they like the fuckery, they play it on us all the time. It never stops, in actual fact. It's how they do things, it's how they work, because if they, and they don't care. People go, oh, they wouldn't tell you that. They would tell you that, they really would, no matter what it is. There is nothing that they do that they won't tell you. Nothing at all. They absolutely have to tell you. They have to. They hide some of it. Some of it in dates and codes and such like. Could be the side of a fucking taxi on a film, but it's all given somewhere, and there's lots of people deciphering it. But unfortunately, a lot of those people that try deciphering it, they're fucked up with the MK Ultra of it all as well, because when they get into deciphering it, they fall down the rabbit holes that teach them they've got to decipher literally fucking everything, and then they start talking to you in numbers and just sound like an absolute complete fucking idiot. And coding words out, because every word's got a code and every word means something. No, not every word means something. A lot of shit out there means something. It's like the transgender fucking conspiracy theories. Yes, we know there's a transgender. Here we go again, Jeffrey. Another bounce for you. But we know that there is a huge transgender agenda, and what you get from that is this trans investigation lot, who they don't investigate anything. They literally just show you pictures of every single female or male from Hollywood and go, see, told you, another one. And that isn't the case. Not everybody is. Some of them are, and some of them are very, very well done. Usually the markers I normally go by is the features, because there are some not so obvious ones that the women seem very, very beautiful, and I'm sure the men to the women seem the same when they've been changed over and converted a little bit. But the reality is, there's always something a little weird about the face, just very, very different, as I like to say. They're just, yes, they have some beautiful features, but if you know anything about beauty, that's just symmetry. If everything's really symmetrical, you come across as very beautiful. When it's out of whack, even by a small amount, you come across as an ugly cunt. But the reality is, it is all on symmetry. Now, when they do these transgenders, the symmetry doesn't always work out. Or the symmetry does, should I say, but it's false symmetry. It's created symmetry. So the jawbones are different to what most people, the features in general are just different to what most beautiful women are, but you can still see the beauty. It's generally a fella, in my opinion. But that don't mean every single one is. And there's just this warped shit going on in this truth movement, where they're genuinely feeding it. They're doing it absolutely on purpose to create these MK Ultra motherfuckers, as I call them. And that's just anybody that's warped, that's gone way too far in whatever realm they've gone into, whether it's spiritual, whether it's transgender, whether it's any aspect of it at all. They've just gone a little bit too far, just gone a little bit daft. And it generally is something like that. But like I say, MK Ultra motherfuckers. But not everybody has gone too far. Some are just fucking warped in the first place. Some are absolute fucking nutters, and they're trying to hide that by playing the conspiracy theorist angle and hiding in plain sight. But like I say, there's an awful lot that are absolutely agendaed up, and they're on the payroll or managed, handled. Lots. And people should know by now. You can't come to, what about this one, what about that one, what about this one? I put my head in my hands when people start doing that shit, because you just can't get to the bottom of it like that. You can't sit there and ask me, each and every one, what about this one, what about that one, because I'm no full authority on anything. I can just tell you my opinion. If I think somebody's a shill and I say, yeah, I think they're a shill, it is what it is. That's my opinion. I have a very good shill radar, as many of my good friends in this game have realised and seen for themselves over the years, because I'll call it out on first sighting. As soon as I see the fuckers, I'll call them out, and they're like, why would you say that? I just fucking know it. I can see it. And it's just my bullshit radar's a little bit more in tune, maybe, but I'll call them out right at the start, even while everybody else is falling for them, following them, and then eventually it comes out and you get to see it yourself. It's sad. It's really sad. I wish I could put into words exactly how I know, or how I see it initially, but when I see it, again, it's back to due diligence, and then do a little bit of your own research on these people, which doesn't take a great deal. You can literally just look at this shit, and you can see that the numbers aren't right. Either they've got hundreds of thousands of views on their let me shut this shit up now. They've either got hundreds of thousands of views on their YouTube channels, and they've only been out a fortnight, or they've got no views and literally everybody knows about them. But it's not rocket science, and that isn't all that there is to it. It's usually mannerisms, just like, say, the bullshit detector kicks in. Their mannerisms show me. They're kissing your arse half the time. Everybody's kissing your arse. Have you noticed that? Everybody's kissing your fucking arse, and you fall for it. You get buttered up because somebody's personable, and now from that point on, you resonate with them. And if you resonate with them, you thought that when you resonate with somebody, it might be because you want to hear that shit, so you resonate with it. You know, if I tell you next Friday I'm going to give you the solution to fucking everything, you're going to be there, you're going to resonate with me, you're going to be there, and every fucker else is going to be there with open arms to greet me and pat me on the back before I even tell you anything. And then I tell you a load of bollocks, and then I walk away, and you're scratching your arse at the end of the day. And then you're not so fucking nice when you come back to talk. Or they're not so nice when you come back to talk to them. The reality is, people like me are just out here. The true truthers are out here genuinely just chatting to people. I chat to too many. Yes, I do my one-to-ones, which has got a fee to them. I can't just give everybody all my time, but I answer fucking emails. When emails come through, I'll drop you a fucking email, I'll drop you an answer, you ask a question, as long as it's not getting silly and I get 200 emails with 200 questions on each one. And it genuinely, if you're just wasting my time wanting to get some blah blah, generally I ain't got time for that shit. Not many people have in this realm, but not the ones that are actually doing something. But yeah, you can generally tell the people. It is what it is, though. for the most part, it's you that needs to do your due diligence. It's you that needs to work out who's who. Don't rely on anybody else, because I say don't trust anybody, even me. I've said it a million times, and then people ask me about somebody else. Well, don't trust me. Don't trust anybody. Work this shit out. Look at it. Look into things. Some people aren't able to, but some people are, and once you do, the more you do, the more you learn, the more you realise. It's like anything, you're training your brain to spot some shit. So yeah, just look out for it, and for the main part, stop falling for shit. Please stop falling for shit. It's really silly, and it is really silly that people just keep falling for things over and over again when it is always the same bullshit. Different scenario every time, but always the same bullshit. Always the same people telling you what you should do. You need to come and do this, you need to do that, you need to go and do that. It's like, yeah, think about it, and think about the consequences for what you're doing. And I don't mean the bad consequences, I mean the consequences that they're promising you. If you do, we're gonna fuck them up by doing this. No, you're not. They've already thought of that. If you think of it, they've thought of it. And I'm not saying it's futile, it's absolutely not futile. If everybody actually stopped falling for the bullshit, stopped making the stupid fucking decisions, and started putting some thought into what they actually do and start making the right decisions, it's still not actually too late, it's just fairly. We're just at that stage where if people aren't going to snap out of it, it's too late. And we can see people aren't going to snap out of it, which kind of makes it too late. But we're not past that threshold yet. It's just that people are still fucking stupid, and that's as blunt as I can say it. People are genuinely fucking stupid. People want an answer to the old problem rather than start piecing things together and work their way out of the bullshit. I mean, like I say, start with food. If it was me, store food, store water, store fuel, store items, defensive and survival. Make sure you can always light a fire. I mean, we talk about that, and I've got a couple of them fire starters, the fire sticks. But the reality is, you can buy lighters in bulk. I bet you could buy, I don't know how much it is, but I bet if you looked hard enough, you'd find 1,000 fucking gas lighters, disposables for whatever, a handful of quid, maybe 50 quid or something. But how long would that last you in a shit at the fan scenario? 1,000 lighters. You've always got fire. You don't have to always go to stupidity. You don't have to always do the shit that everybody else is telling you to do. I've done loads over the years to prepare, and I'm fairly prepared. But like when it comes to food, last time I bought a shitload of food. I went two times round. One time I was with somebody who'd bought a shitload of food, and we bagged it all up to prepare for the future. Another time I bought a load of food and put it away to prepare for the future. Sell by dates come and go, use by dates come and go. Eventually you realise you can't just leave it there forever, you have to get rid of it. So wasted a load of shit. So get into looking at what really lasts, what lasts a long time, and there's loads of videos that tell you what lasts a long time for storage, what shit at the fan items to get. I don't need to list that shit, and you don't need to come asking me that shit, because there's literally loads and loads, hundreds if not thousands of videos out there that answer all those questions and give you whole lists of far more than I would say if I just rolled a few things out. So again, due diligence, you go looking. Look at the fact, yes, we're coming into summer, but in a blink of an eye it's going to be winter again. Not that there's much difference between the seasons by design, but reality is warmer and colder, definitely. If the shit hits the fan, the chances are it's going to be the latter half of the year, although everybody believes that the world is going to end on the fucking 8th of this month again. But the chances are, if it does happen, if the banks go down and such like, it's going to be mid to late end of the year. I'm not going to name any dates, and I'm not going to name any reasons. It just is what it is. If it happens, I believe it will be later on in the year, but that means you've got to prepare for later on in the year. Bearing in mind that means it could lead into winter, so your survival items go a little bit further into cold weather survival items, a little bit more important than warm weather survival items. Warm weather survival, a fan. Cold weather, a blanket. But if you can't keep warm, you're gonna die. It's as simple as that. If there was no electricity, there was nothing to keep you warm. But hey, anyway, that was a bounce, wasn't it, Jeffrey? Yeah, I'm just bouncing again now, and I suppose I'm just babbling now anyway, because I don't know how useful this shit is to you, and I don't know how useful me talking to you is. But if people would stop falling for the bullshit, that'd be nice. If people would stop following shills, that'd be nice. But it don't really matter who you fucking follow. Follow them if you want, but just don't fucking come and argue with me about the world's going to end on the fucking 8th. And I'm not saying that because I'm trying to be a smart arse. Like I say, for the first 10 years of me being in this fucking supposed woken world, I fell for all the dates. There was one time I literally took my wife and my dog in my RV to a high elevation for a 3-week period because I'd been convinced that the fucking country was going to flood, and I was in a low level zone and I was on the shit list for the floodings. So trust me, I once went away, took my missus away, and like I say, my dog, just purely for that reason, because I thought this area what I was in was going to be underwater, just because I fell for that shit that the shills and the bullshitters talk about on the internet. Stop falling for it. I learned by experience not to fall for these dates, not to tell other people about these dates, because these dates are usually a crock of shit. They're designed to create that fear factor. They're designed to sometimes make you rush out there and spend a stupid amount of money on shit you didn't need to spend any money on. And sometimes it's just about fucking up the truth movement, because if I start shouting dates out every 2 weeks, which I did at one point, I start losing credibility when I shout them dates out and people are going, nah, fucking yeah, he's always giving some fucking date or other, and you end up looking like a fool. That way people they're just not going to believe you in the future. When you start telling them things that are really important, they've got reason to call you a conspiracy theorist. They've got reason to call you a fucking idiot, because basically you've been a fucking idiot. And they'll never believe anything you say. There's people out there still close to me that won't believe the things I say because of what I was saying 10 years ago. And I'm so fucking far advanced from that, as people should imagine by now, to the point where I just don't talk about the shit that causes those problems. There's just no point. Absolutely not. You end up arguing with idiots who have decided on a different date, or been told a different date something's going to happen, or a particular date. It's never on them dates. But anyway, like I say, I'm just babbling now, so I hope you enjoy this one. I don't know, I have got one coming up, obviously, like I said, with a good friend of mine, and after that I may just disappear into the dust for a little bit. I'm always I'm always on the internet, I'm always on Facebook, on my wonky world, and so I can always be found, and I'm always on my emails, and they never disappear. But YouTube videos, sometimes you're just talking to yourself. Well, always talking to myself. But when it's uploaded, not everybody can get it, so it is what it is. But like I say, we'll discuss more in the future, and I just don't know how often and when they'll be. So I'll catch you again soon, folks, and have a good one. Ta-da.